Paizo throws the gauntlet at the wizards. Hell, Paizo has had enough of the wizards. Dwarven wisdom and rage. Before we get started, subscribe, hammer that bell, and if you like this video, share. Paizo has announced that the OGL cannot be revoked. They are creating an open role-playing game license. They will join with Paizo, Green Ronin, Kobo Press, and others in creating this license. Also, if you wish to join this OGL, you can do so. You just have to sign up on the website. I will read this license I will read this news to you now. Here is Paizo's announcement. Paizo announces system neutral open RPG license. For the last several weeks, as rumors of Wizards of the Coast new version of the open game license began circulating among publishers and on social media, gamers across the world has been asking what Paizo plans to do in light of concerns regarding Wizards of the Coast rumor plan to deauthorize the existing OGL 1.0A. We have been awaiting further information, hoping that Wizards would realize that for more than 20 years, the OGL has been a mutually beneficial license which should not and cannot be revoked. While we continue to await an answer from Wizards, we strongly feel that Paizo cannot longer delay making our own feelings about the importance of the open gaming a part of the public discussion. We believe that any interpretations that the OGL 1.0 or 1.0A were intended to be revocable or able to be deauthorized is incorrect, and with good reasons. We were there. Paizo owner Lisa Stevens and Paizo president Jim Butler were leaders on the Dungeons and Dragons team at Wizards at the time. Brian Lewis, co-founder of Azora Law, the intellectual property law firm that Paizo uses, was the attorney at Wizards who came up with the legal framework for the OGL itself. Paizo has also worked very closely on OGL-related issues with Ryan Dempsey, the visionary who conceived the OGL in the first place. Paizo does not believe that the OGL 1.0A can be deauthorized ever. While we are prepared to argue that point in a court of law if need be, we don't want to have to do that, and we know that many of our fellow publishers are not in a position to do so. We have no interest whatsoever in Wizards' new OGL. Instead, we have a plan that we believe will irrevocably and unquestionably keep alive the spirit of the open game license. As Paizo has evolved, the parts of the OGL that we ourselves value have changed. When we needed to quickly bring out Pathfinder First Edition to continue publishing our popular monthly adventures back in 2008, using Wizards language was important and expeditious. But in our own non-RPG products, including our Pathfinder Tales, novels, the Pathfinder Adventure card game, and others, we shifted our focus away from Dungeons and Dragons tropes to lean harder into ideas from our own writers. By the time we went to work on Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Wizards of the Coast open game content was significantly less important to us. And so, our designers and developers wrote the new edition without using Wizards' copyrighted expressions of any game mechanics. While we still publish it under the OGL, the reason was no longer to allow Paizo, to use Wizards' expressions, but to allow other companies to use our expressions. We believe, as we always have, that open gaming makes games better, improves profitability to all involved, and enriches the community of gamers who participate in this amazing hobby. And so, when we invite gamers from around the world to join us as we begin the next great chapter of open gaming with the release of a new open, perpetual, and irrevocable open RPG creative license, the Orc. That is great. The new open RPG creative license will be built system agnostic for independent game publishers under the legal guidance of Azora Law, an intellectual property law firm that represents Paizos and several other gaming publishers. Paizo will pay for this legal work. We invite game publishers worldwide to join us in support of this system agnostic license that allows all games to provide their own unique open rules reference documents that open up the individual game systems to the world. To join the effort and provide feedback on the drafts of the license, please sign up by using this form. Oh, I will be signing up. And I encourage you, sign up, give your input. Let's continue. In addition to Paizo, Cobble Press, KSM, Green Ronin, Legendary Games, Rock Genius Games, and a growing list of publishers have already agreed to participate in the Open RPG Creator License. And in the coming days, we hope and expect to add substantially to this group. The Orc will not be owned by Paizo, nor will it be owned by any company who makes money publishing RPGs. Wow, that's a bold statement and completely the opposite of what the Wizards want to do. I praise you, Paizo. I praise you very much. Sora laws, ownership of the process, and stewardship should provide a safe harbor against any company being bought, sold, or changing management in the future and attempting to restrict rights or nullify sections of the license. Ultimately, we plan to find a non-profit with a history of open source value to own this license, such as the Linux Foundation. That is amazing. My heart fills with joy at reading this. I hope that yours does too. Of course, Paizo plans to continue publishing Pathfinder and Starfinding, even as we move away from the open gaming license. Since months worth of products are still at the printer, you'll see the familiar OGL 1.0a in the back of our products for a while yet. While the open RPG creative license is being finalized, we'll be printing Pathfinder and Starfinder products without any license, and we'll add the finished license to those products when the new license is complete. Very smart. We hope that you will continue to support Paizo and other game publishers in this difficult time for the entire hobby. You can do your part by supporting the many companies that have provided content under the OGL. Support Pathfinder and Starfinding by visiting your local game store, subscribing to Pathfinder and Starfinder, or taking advantage of the discount code Open Gaming during the checkout for 20% off your purchase of the Core Rulebook Pocket Edition, or Pathfinder Beginner Boss. Support Kobo Press, Green Ronin, Legendary Games, Roll for Combat, Rogue Genius Games, and other publishers working to preserve a prosperous future for open gaming that is both perpetual and irrevocable. Well, we'll be there at your side. You can count on us not to go back on our word. Forever, Paizo Inc. If I didn't know better, I would say this company is run by dwarves that have honor. I highly respect you, Paizo. I have never played your games, I must admit. But now, I will certainly look into your games, especially Starfinder. I'm very curious about that game. Well, I really like what Paizo says. If you wish to read the article, the link is in the comment section. I believe it's time for a drink. What are your thoughts on the subject? Would you be joining Paizos Orc? Share your wisdom in the comment section. Remember, be honorable, be respectful.